Good day, everybody. It's me again, Carl Bredell, a general practitioner with a passion for health and staying healthy. And I got to a point where I just found I've had enough of treating people, of caring for people to become healthy or to repair. And I'd love to focus on how do we stay healthy? How do we prevent illness? So this is another episode of my optimal health, prosperity, good health, perfect health talk. And we did some background last week just on general health and the importance of the gastrointestinal system and the research that's been done, and how much it influences our general health. So I'm going to take it step by step. I talked about the mouth, chewing, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, colon, the importance of the immune system, of which 80% lies around the gut wall. I talked about the importance of all the nerve tissue that lies around the gut wall, called the second brain. I talked about the bacteria and the viruses and the funguses and parasites in the gut and how important that is. But I'm going to take it step by step, and today I'm going to focus on your mouth, teeth, mouth, chewing, the importance of facial structure, something we don't think about, but so important in health. So I'm going to take you on an interesting journey. I've got a friend whose mum always said to him, "These are not ornaments. They're there to be used. You need to use them." Okay? So I want to say again, your teeth are not ornaments. They are there to be used. So chewing and using them is such an important part of general digestion and consequently general health. So I brought a very interesting book, and that I would like anyone who's interested in dental work but also interested in general health to get. And the book's called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. And it was researched in the 40s and the 50s by Weston A. Price. Weston A. Price went all over the world, and he looked at indigenous tribes and what happened to them when they changed their nutrition from the traditional food they used to eat, the way they used to live, the way they used to chew, to modern Western diets. And it was remarkable, the effect on especially their dental health, but also even facial development, and then eventually physical health. It was actually shocking when I looked at this. You know, we think having caries, holes in our teeth, we think that's just something that happens and it's normal and we need to go to the dentist all the time. We think that overriding teeth and misaligned teeth and malformations is normal. It's okay to go and have all these braces. He discovered a remarkable thing, and that was that in none of all those tribes that were spread all over the world did he find malformations of the jaws, overriding teeth, and 1 in 1,000 tooth would have a hole in or would have some problem. So nutrition and physical degeneration, a remarkable guy, and I'll put up a photo of him, Weston A. Price, who on his work developed some further nutritional institutes. And he visited places all over the world. I'm going to just read some of the places he went to. He went to the Swiss, the Eskimos, North American Indians, Malaysians, Polynesians, went to Africa, some Africa tribes, Australian Aborigines, the Torres Strait Islanders, New Zealand, the Maoris, Peru, the Peruvian Indians. So he literally traveled the globe and he looked at all these different tribes. And I'm gonna show you some photos. But I must say, one of the most remarkable things to me was a burial site in Peru where he dug up 1,276 skulls, and every single skull had a perfect row of teeth and had no caries, no problems, no dental work needed. Consecutive skulls, 1,276 skulls. So, very interesting book, something to look at, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price. A shocking and powerful testament to the adverse effects of modern processed diets upon health. And he philosophizes and studies and discusses what happens, but basically I would say two important things. Firstly, when you eat soft and processed and defibered foods, you don't really need the strength of the muscles of the mouth to bite through this. Most of it you can just give a bite and swallow. So once you have seeds and fibrous tissue and sinuous meat, you need to really put some effort into chewing that. And what happens then is that the facial muscles develop your mouth, your mandible, your maxillae, your facial bones develop to such an extent that there's enough space for all the teeth that you need in your mouth. So you do not get malformations in the mouth, and you do not have to remove buried teeth. You don't need to put in wiring to straighten all of that. It makes sense once you think about it that you need to really develop these muscles. Same as somebody who does some physical work, who then develop broad shoulders, strong bones. That's the one thing. And then the other thing is modern food has just got too much sugar in. And it's not just the sugar, but the processed carbohydrates. There's just too much easily digestible sugars, and because of that, bacteria starts growing on that in the mouth. The wrong bacteria starts growing, and those bacteria starts attacking your mouth, so your teeth. So one of the best things to look after your children's dental health is get them to chew properly, get them to chew hard and nutty and crunchy and sinewy stuff, get them to chew a wide variety of food, and you'll save yourself thousands and thousands and thousands of rand of dental work. So that's just an introduction into dental development. But I want to talk about digestion. So your digestion, I said, starts here in your face. What you see, what you smell, and what you taste. So when you sit down and eat, I want you to sit down and just spend a few seconds. Look at your food. Look at the colors. Look at the textures. Realize what you are going to eat, because that's the first thing that your body does. Once it knows what is coming, it will start preparing the correct digestive enzymes. Smell it. And then once it's in the mouth, I want you to really taste it. Chew it. I have found around 22 that you need to chew food around 22, 24 times. By then, it's a beautiful fluid which is mixed with all the digestive enzymes that you produce. We all have looked at food and you feel your salivary glands produce, you start salivating. That's there for a purpose, because you need that to start digesting the food. So firstly, I want you to see the food, smell the food, and then really taste it by chewing it properly 23 times, and then you can swallow, and then you take the next bite. Take time, chew it properly. Sit down when you eat. When you sit down when you eat, you activate your parasympathetic, your rest and digest system, which we need to be switched on when we need to digest. Sit down, chew properly, taste the food, and then swallow it. So what happens then is the food that is now in a fluid form, once it gets to the stomach, it can be worked on by the chemicals in the stomach, of which stomach acid is the most important one. You cannot have acid work on a lump of food, half-chewed meat, pieces of vegetables that you just drop down into the stomach. Once it's there in a fluid form, you can digest that so much better. So I cannot stress that enough. I want to go back to this interesting book and read you some of the information in here. On the front page, it says, Dr. Weston Price was one of the most prominent health researchers of the 20th century. This extraordinary masterpiece of nutritional science belongs in the library of anyone who is serious about learning how to use food to improve your health. And that was written by Dr. Joseph Mercola. Dr. Mercola is a very interesting guy. I've been following his website, his newsletter for probably 15 to 20 years. Anyone who's interested in their health, download mercola.com. He's an American chiropractor and very interested in health, does a lot of research by now. He's got a whole team, and he gives out a newsletter weekly. And you can pick and choose what you want to read, and it's free. Very well researched. He often gives a summary on any subject, gives a summary. I often just scan the summary, and then if it's really interesting, I would go through the whole article. But it's interesting that he's the guy who wrote the foreword on this. So when he says something, I certainly listen. And the second thing I want to read you is what he says. He says, to the memory of that kindred soul, my wife Florence, who assisted me so greatly on these difficult expeditions, this book is lovingly dedicated. So this guy took his wife on all these excursions into every island almost that you can think of, every part of the world that where people were still living their traditional ways. What an adventure. Unfortunately, in our modern times, I don't think there are many places that you can go to where Western civilization hasn't reached. So must have been quite an interesting time, and quite a dedicated woman. We often look to these guys who's done these wonderful things, and you don't look at the backups of what has happened. He also, what fascinated me was he also went into the surgical skills of the Peruvian guys. These guys had very specific weapons to fracture the skull. So when you got hit by one of these, you would have a hole in your skull and a fractured skull. But they found some of these skulls where clearly the guys survived, and on top of that, they found that their surgeons at the time, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, would open up the skin of the skull and plate them with golden plates, and then cover it again. So some of these skulls showed that they must have lived for years afterwards. Some of these holes nearly filled up completely. That to me is remarkable, that they could have skills to take people whose skull had a hole that big and keep them alive. And I don't know how they did it. They also built aqueducts and to take water into areas and to irrigate their fields. And now there's just desert. So all that civilization's skills went. We've lost it. I wonder if we start looking around all over the world and if we could recover all of those skills that these people had. We think we are so wise and so amazing in modern life. And it's true, we are. The surgical things that we do nowadays is amazing. But if we could combine that with the recovery skills and the nutrition and the healing and the nursing of what these guys had for thousands of years, and the herbs, if we could just combine that, we'll have miracles. We've lost that in modern life. We do amazing operations, and then we feed these people with jelly and bread and junk food. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna find some photos, maybe a little bit of videos, add that in, some more interesting facts about this, what happens when we chew, and add this to today's talk. So I'm going to end a little bit earlier, but I want you to please sit down when you eat, look at what you eat, smell what you eat, taste it, chew it properly, and give yourself the best chance to get the most out of that nutrition. And I've said this before, I want to say it again. Have every color of the rainbow in the food every day. No matter what your basic nutrition is, no matter what diet you are on, and I know every person has got a different idea of diet, but at least have a colorful diet. Don't eat bland food, and stay away from processed food. When they process it, they take stuff out that you need. When you're hungry after you've eaten, if you overeat, it means your body didn't really get the nutrition that you needed, and that's why you overeat. Your body is saying, I've maybe received a lot of calories, but I didn't receive the nutrition that I need, and that's why you keep on eating and overeating. Unnecessary. If you really feed your body, you'll be satisfied, you'll be full. When you sit down and eat and take time to eat, your body will get to a point where it says, I've had enough, it's okay now, I don't need to gobble up more. It's just amazing when I look out there how many really big overweight people there are, and I shudder by the thought of the health consequences of that extra fat. Just the amount of energy that your body must put in to feed that fat with oxygen, with extra nutrition. When you walk and move around, it's dead weight that you need to carry around. If you think 10 kilograms is not that much, I want you to go into a shop, pick up a 10 kilogram of dog food, and just carry it with you the whole time that you do your shopping. Don't put it in a shopping trolley. Carry it with you and see how you feel at the end of your shopping spree. And think that's what your body needs to carry around all the time. Anyway, that's another whole subject. Chew your fruit properly, relax when you eat, enjoy the food, have all the color of the rainbow in your nutrition every day. And next week we're going to talk about the esophagus, the stomach, reflux, the importance of stomach acid, the importance of combining foods that digest more or less at the same time. So we're going to go from the stomach to the esophagus, from the mouth, going to go from the mouth to the esophagus and the stomach. And that's the next step in nutrition. Till then, eat healthily, stay healthily, sleep well, do a bit of exercise, have lots of fun. Laughter is the best medicine. Stay well and healthy. I'll see you next time. Bye.